Well, Sláinte, and welcome to episode 4 of the Sláinte series for Belfast Whisky Week, the lead up to July. And listen, it looks like I've been let down again, have I? I might have Hinch Distillery on. Only joking. He's prepping himself. So we have Jamie Cotter from Hinch Distillery this evening, who is going to be having a bit of banter with me, a bit of chat, all things Hinch. You know, lots of discussion, apparently some exclusive information, which is really interesting. And I get to sample some of the great whiskey, which is coming out of the distillery at the moment. So happy days. And yes, evening, Martin. Thank you very much. And Connor, good to see you. Excellent stuff. Yes, Robert, hello. Wayne, yes. I'm loving the fact you're saying hello, everyone. At the moment, there's about 20 odd people on, but that's good. That's everyone. That's all you need to know. That's the height of it just now. Listen, for the people who were with me last night for the banter, I was just having some crack. I just couldn't stop having the crack. Everyone's comments were just making me smile. So, yes, Liam, evening. I'm not sure about who the champions are. You talking about your team again? Is it top of the league? Is that what you're saying, Liam? Is that what you're saying? Brilliant. Yes, hello, Kevin. I'm going to bring in Jamie. So, yes, he's waiting in the wings. I was just going to just pile on without him. But I'll bring on Jamie just now and we'll have a bit of banter. So, listen, let's welcome him on board. Okay, you ready to come in? I'm sure you are. There we go. There's your, if it works. There's your Jamie.
Good evening, sir. How are we?
I'm very, very good. How are you?
Yeah, I can't complain. It's good to see you freshened up, gelled the hair and taken the hat off since I last seen you.
Yes, thank you very much. I had my dressing gown on earlier. Is that what you were saying? You thought I was wearing
the dressing gown and the mask that you were going to do a bit of spray painting with on the side of the building. I was ready to call security on you.
Here, you've changed your shirt as well.
Of course. Oh. Yeah, the lumberjack shirt's over in the far corner. Don't worry.
Brilliant. Listen, people are saying that's some backdrop. It's a real backdrop. This isn't a fake. You've not blurred your screen out. This is actually, you're in the distillery.
I went home there. I was bored waiting on you, so I went home. I'm currently sitting in the boardroom. If I move this way, that's our hills behind us. So it is. So yeah, what a backdrop. You've had the privilege of being here before and taking a walk around the building from concept right through to completion. So you have. So,
yeah, I saw it as a big piece of muck at one point, Yeah.
If we go back to November 2018, that's when the ground was broke for the distillery, and then started being built around February, March of 2019. So it's been a long time coming, and COVID hasn't helped either. But we're all ready to open the doors anyway. Once we're allowed.
So Jamie, you know what this is about. This is a bit of banter. You've got about half an hour, 45 minutes to just talk about Hinch. We're not going to.
I'm time capped. Last night you said it was going to be a quick conversation. You've been on for about 45 minutes an hour, was it not?
I know. I thought I was only going to be on for 5 minutes last night for the banter, and then all of a sudden it was half an hour. I was like, "What's going on?" I do have some whiskey in front of me, so I have this just now, the peated single malt.
It's hard to beat, isn't it? Hard to beat.
Do you know, it's a staple. You can tell because this is it's in the cupboard. This is being used. It is very, very good. So. I've had all the core components of the range, and yeah, this is good. This is good. Yeah, I'm very, very impressed. You can talk a little bit about it. You can let people know what the peated's all about.
Yeah, so the peated is going to play a big part in our distillery. As you know, for quite a while in Irish whiskey, it was just that one brand, Connemara, that was ruling the roost with the peated whiskey. And when Hinch came along, Terry Cross, owner and founder of Hinch Distillery, when he went out and sourced the millions of pounds worth of whiskey, he got it peated. So I solely believe that we were the first on the market there after Connemara. And you think of all the other whiskey brands that are coming, that peated whiskey is now playing a very big part, a renaissance in Irish whiskey. And our head distiller, Aaron, is adamant in saying that he is going to play a big part here as well. We are a single malt distillery, but peat's going to play a big part at the same time. So
that's good.
That peated whiskey you have there at the minute, it's the show where we're going to go in a direction. We have 5 SKUs out at the minute: a small batch, 5-year-old double wood, 10-year-old sherry, peated, and a pot still. And it's a combination of being able to go, these are the influences we've got, but when we stir around stuff, we want that bold, strong flavors, very much like a Scotch. Our head distiller, Aaron, has been working in the industry across in Scotland for quite a while at some of the single malt distilleries, and then took his trade elsewhere, and then came back home. And it's a dream come true for him. Belfast boy, travels the world doing his dream job, but returns home to his home distillery. So he's now in single malt distilling.
Well, listen, this to me is it's not necessarily a beginner kind of peated whiskey. It's a moderate level.
It's a high ppm for what it is. I would class it as a heavily peated. The entry to heavily peated, it's not going to be up there with a Frog or heavy Ardbeg, but it packs a punch in the peated category anyway. And especially even 43%, there's still a lot that comes through.
I was going to say it's got a lovely smoky sweetiness to it.
Really nice. We aren't scared to put it up against other big brands. Like if you recall rightly, Belfast Whisky Club 2 years ago, we sat down and we were the first people at Belfast Whisky Club. I took my Hinch hat off here and put my Belfast Whisky Club hat on. We sat down that night and Michael Marsh, our international sales director, came along with all the SKUs. And you pitched our peated against, was it an Ardbeg 10 or was it an exclusive? I'm not 100% certain.
Was it an Ardbeg Corey Becken?
It was an Ardbeg anyway, from what I recall, because it was a wild night anyway. Yeah. But the consensus was among the club that it really held up. We've taken it to some of the big shows in Scotland, and I think it was the Edinburgh Whisky Festival that Michael took it to, and we won Dram of the Day. But they kind of went, right, we need to see the paperwork to make sure this is peated. They just couldn't understand. The Scots weren't happy, a bit like yourself, being Scottish. You weren't happy when you got beat at your own game, basically. It was the best way.
Listen, some lovely comments here. It's just good to go back into the room, but nice to see Andrew, you're here. Hope things are well, sir. Says it's a stunning view. And who else have we got? Again, Nicholas.
Gareth Shaw, I'm laughing at his comment.
Gareth Shaw says you're sexy. I concur.
Let's be honest, Gareth Shaw is a sexy man.
Nicholas there from Massachusetts, excellent again to see you again. Mark Westmoreland from Wolfburn, giving you a wee pitch there. Love it. Yes. Love it indeed. And Fenella, yes, can't wait for a visit. Listen, and same with Martin. It's I think people are itching to get out to Hinch, itching to get out there and take a tour and take in some new make. They want to be able to do that. Andrew, that's very kind.
Yeah, as soon as we are ready to go, Paul. When you're up tonight, you can see it. We're just sitting waiting to get these doors open. Obviously, we have to wait until it's safe to do so. But as soon as we get the chance, we will have Belfast Whisky Club up. Belfast Whisky Week this year. Fingers crossed, everything goes to plan. We'll be back in person as well as live, and this is our third year with Belfast Whisky Week. First year was in Bug Uglies. I think that was our first public tasting that we done at Belfast Whisky Week. It was our first public tasting. And then we had last year's virtual event, and then this year will be virtual, but most likely the spaces that we have here, we have a tasting room, we have 2 function rooms. By all means, we will be having a party here, if all goes well. So
listen, I'm looking forward to it insofar as that hopefully we can do some broadcasting from the distillery. Hopefully, you've got a beautiful facility down there. You've got lots of space. It'd be nice to come in and do some, some broadcasting for the actual festival itself.
So, because this is being recorded, if I say yes, it's going to happen, it has to happen.
That's right. Listen,
fair enough.
My second wee one here is the cheeky 18-year-old.
Yeah, you've got the 18-year-old in front of you that we released just before Christmas. The Shadow Dillon.
A wee drink of this.
I'm shocked you actually held on to that.
Do you know what? Sure, I did. Did I not buy 3 of the big bottles?
I'm not certain. You didn't buy them off me anyway.
No, bought them in the shop.
That was a project quite a while in the making. Our owner Terry Cross owns a Chateau Delaline out in Bordeaux, France, and he bought it on St. Patrick's Day 2000. So it was a no-brainer that we take his wine barrels and we put our whiskey into it. So we took an 18-year-old whiskey that was aged in bourbon for 18 years and put it into the Chateau Delaline Grand Reserve casks for just over 6 months. And a big thing for me when we sat down to talk about it was, you might see it in quite a whiskey, like whiskies, what we'll talk about later, what we've got launching. You wouldn't normally see what it's paired with or what it was aged in. So to be able to take that whiskey aged in that wine cask and supply the wine with it at the same time, that you can see what influences come through for me, it was just a really good thing to do, that people can sit down with both components and go, voila, happy days. So it's going to play a stable part in our distillery going forward. You know, we are already looking at next year's release for it.
I think it was beautiful to have that, you know, because I've done some whiskey and wine pairings, but I've never had the actual, you know, the actual bottle in front of me, which was the wine and which was in that cask. So, no, absolutely brilliant.
Did you drink any of that wine, Paul?
Sorry?
Did you drink any of that wine? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Have I drunk the wine? I have one bottle sitting here. I actually gave 2 others away as presents.
That's right. I forgot you were kind of giving away as presents. Lucky people that got those presents.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy. Wayne Sloan, actually, if Wayne Sloan's still in the chat, Wayne Sloan got a wee Christmas present there, you know. So, I mean, just saying, Wayne, you know.
I can just see my manager in the comments here. Give me a hard time's the best way of putting it.
Here,
like more.
It's very creamy.
There's some very good notes off it. It does pack a punch there at the end of the day. It's something that we're seriously proud of, and it just shows you the direction that Hinch Distillery will be going in. You know, for me, there's a lot of red summer berries off it, and then, you know, on the nose, plum. There's an abundance of apple there as well. It's basically big fresh fruit aromas on the nose. Now, I don't have any to hand because I thought I'd stay here and show you the backdrop rather than go home and have a drink with you at the same time. So from recall memory, it's you know, that's on the palate, from what I recall, is a toffee, caramel, dark cocoa, and you know, sweet vanilla's in there as well.
Do you know what? I mean, the alcohol content comes in at what, 40? It's only in at 46%, but it gives off a lot of alcohol. It gives off a lot, and it's really sweet.
I had the pleasure of sitting down with Aaron and the rest of the team, trying it from cask strength right down, and people talk about it. The sweet spot was 46%. So we went out at it, that 3% over what our normal core range is at 43. It just worked. So obviously you have a mini there in front of you, and that's a mock-up of what the label looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I finished all the bottles, but anyone that's the first one I started on, which was the bottles are class. I mean, these big chunky bottles, you know.
It's a bespoke, unique bottle to us. You know, there's no other bottle like that on the market, and we went for premium from the start. From the big wide cork down to the embossment on the bottle where it says Distillery, and then round the bottom we also have whiskey that understands time. So a lot of work went into that bottle.
Yeah. I know it is. It's lovely, and the big bottles, but big flavour. I mean, this 18 is absolutely superb. Jamie, I just want to reminisce. A wee bit about the physical Belfast Whiskey Week we had 2 years ago.
Are we talking about the second one? But big difference between the first year and the second year, anyway.
Yeah, first year when we're physical and when we're in there doing stuff. You know, you had a part to play in just about every tasting. You ended up coming to just about all the tastings, and you know, the support you gave was unreal. And this is before you worked for Hinch. You know, this is like, you know, you gave a lot of you really gave a lot of help to the festival and stuff. You know.
Yeah, I remember you coming to us and sort of said Belfast Whiskey Week was going to be a thing, and I think a few of us kind of went, "You're a bit mad in the head there. We can't really see it taking off," but it just grew and grew overnight. And at the same time as I was starting Hinch Distillery, back in June of 2019, after attending Belfast Whiskey Club, and getting a dream job, you dragged me out. If you dragged me out that night to Belfast Whiskey Club, had I not come down that night, I wouldn't be sitting here. It's simple as that. But Belfast Whiskey Club in 2019, you know, that was our first tasting. We had Michael Morris, our national sales director, and Aaron, our head distiller, doing the tasting. But how many events did we do that week? And it was a testament to what Belfast could put on. It was 2 shows per day, and it was an after party every night. And it just showed the crack that we had, be it in York, be it Pug Uglies, be it in the Garrick. It was some of the best stuff that we've ever had. And unfortunately, last year, we had to put it online. And, you know, myself, you, Causeway, and Nigel, when we sat down, and also Johnny and Sarah, when we sat down to say, can Belfast Whiskey Week make it online? You drove that. You know, we got to sit back and have a bit of fun, but at the end of the day, it was testament to you putting all the hard work in from the lovely boxes right through. And I just had to sit back in this distillery and do my 2 live broadcasts, one Sunday morning with a hangover, and then 2 hours on a Wednesday night. But it was, Belfast Whisky Week first year. Let's fingers crossed it happens again this year. I'm just hoping that we can have our tasting at the distillery, and I'll just go onto the main road, jump on the 18 bus from Hinch into Belfast, and go straight into the Duke of York and have a session, because it's going to be a session when we all get to return in person.
Yeah, do you know, I think we might be lucky that we will have people coming out to the different tastings. There's no doubt.
We have to be smart about it,
Yeah.
I think limited numbers, just be very smart, but it's going to bring a different dynamic to it that, as we've said, potentially you'll be broadcasting from here with X amount of people, maybe in person having live tasting, while we have the likes of people in America, Australia, Argentina, and those parcels are testament to Anthony down at Irish Whisky Austin's getting it sent out.
People are.
I thought I got away with that week in 2019 of not being hungover in work, but obviously my manager called on to me. So, listen, Eric, you can join us.
Comments coming in here. I just want to run through some of them, but obviously, the likes of John, he's calling you out a little bit. He's asking you about this peated cask strength. It's been well over a year. Where's this peated cask strength?
In the long pipeline.
What are you saying, Jamie?
In the long pipeline is the best way of putting it. On the very long
so
finger.
It's still in the pipeline. It's somehow swimming through the pipeline. It's just a wee bit slower than what he's expecting.
Everything's discussed, Paul. Everything's discussed, and there's nothing off the table at the minute.
Yeah.
At this point in time, it doesn't make sense when we've just got our core range out there. A couple of months ago, we launched in America. We've just launched more in Canada, and we're ever growing in emerging markets around the world. So at the minute, core range, and in a bit, we'll talk about a new exclusive that makes sense at this point in time. But peated cask strength, don't take it off the table.
There's MP Moho just saying country music in the ear in national bars at the moment. Yeah, I mean, look, it's everything is different in every part of the world right now. People are, we're still partying in some parts of the world. I know Australia, what is it in Australia? You can do everything right now. They really have come out of the tough times for them. There's people out there drinking and eating, partying. We need to say, we definitely need to be looking, positively about what we can do. But we know our governments are a little bit slower, a little bit more cautious in some respects, and they are helping. I think helping keeping the NHS, in the north specifically, but in the south, those health services need to be, they need to be given the time in order to resolve what's going on here, because there's a lot of people clogging up a lot of, hospital beds right now who are not well. So, listen, I reckon from the news that came out the last couple of days that they want people to get back to a sense of normality. I think as a festival, we've been smart enough to already say we're doing everything online, but if we can get people, if you get a box and you order a box and you want to come to an event, come to the event. If you're allowed to come to the event, we're not going to tell you to come, but come. You know what I mean? If it suits you, because we want to see your face. We want to see you drinking and enjoying the whiskey, but at the same time, be safe about it, So I know there's a lot of guys that I've been speaking to, and they're like, listen, if I can get there, I'll get there. And if I can't, well, listen, I'm going to sit at home and I'm going to watch this. So, and we need to bring that online element. I thought we did really well in the summer. That was pushed, and I thought we got a good response. But I'm looking at something a little bit bigger, a little bit more professional, a little bit more that I think that people will be blown away by, not really understanding what's going on. Trying to broadcast lots of tastings throughout the week. It's essentially going to be a TV channel. People need to think in their head, this is a TV channel. You tune in, and from 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 12 o'clock at night, there's going to be tastings on the go. Lots of tastings.
If you're the presenter all again this year, it's going to be...
No, we have guest presenters. And we've already got a whole heap of guys from across the world. It's not just going to be people here from Belfast. It's people from across the world who want to present, who want to come on and talk about whiskey, because there's lots of brilliant people out there, lots of good bloggers, lots of good people in the industry who are doing stuff. Maybe they're ambassadors, ambassadors who maybe don't even work for distilleries. Maybe they're ambassadors who go out there on their own trying to drum up support for Irish whiskey. You know, I don't work for a distillery, but I think I talk a hell of a lot about them. You know, and
You
there's
sure?
other people like
I thought you were a brand ambassador for some of the stuff. Well, for a brand anyway.
for that brand McConnell's. I liked the jumper the other night. The jumper was class, eh? The jumper's class. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah,
what
for like us.
live at Hinch music event. Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? Bluegrass, country music. You're getting told what to do there at Hinch. Get it done.
Listen, it's been a plan that's been in the pipeline. Our courtyard potentially could seat easy 500, 600 people. It lends itself to music events. You know, we have the possibilities are endless here at Hinch, the spaces that we have to play with. And yeah, you know, going forward, when it's safe to do so, and we need to be cautious and just not run at things. But just because the doors can be open doesn't mean we just have to open them wide, limited numbers, all restrictions in place, and when it's fully safe to do so, yeah, we'll have a shindig in our courtyard. You know, you could be the comedian. You know, that we have live at Hinch with the music, and you could be our stand-up comedian. You know?
Yes.
I love how you didn't rule that out straight away.
I've been saying for years, haven't I? I want to do a stand-up show. I've got a couple of friends that are, comics. I've been saying to them, I've been threatening them that I'm going to do some live stand-up with them, and they've been egging me on, saying, "Yes, come on, let's do it." At some point, I will no doubt be doing a stand-up show. At one point, I will do one stand-up show. It'll be the last one I probably ever do, but I'll do one, and it'll be a bit of a gag.
Can we put you on the spot? Can we put you on the spot? At Belfast Whiskey Week this year, you'll have DJs, you'll have comedians. I reckon you should join in and do your own 5 minutes in between the events.
I've always been, I've got two concepts. The first concept doesn't really get many people. People kind of like look at me and go, "You're talking shite, don't do that." But I think this would be cool, right? Just sit there on the stage, stand there, whatever it is, and pretend to be Billy Connolly without looking like Billy Connolly, without dressing like Billy Connolly, but just copying what he does, because he is imitating Billy Connolly it's just too funny for me. Like I absolutely love it. So my wee Billy Connolly impression is really good, I think. Do you know what I mean? Other people might think that's shite.
Blow your own trumpet.
Good. And that's number one concept. Number two concept, you guys would love this. This is absolutely brilliant. This is exclusive. Only a couple of people know about my other concept. Snail racing on stage. Commentary of snail racing.
I know you've had some really good ideas, but I'm sure that's a bad idea.
I think it's a good idea. Could you imagine getting all your snails and then going, "Oh, yeah," and there's that little snail there with the little green shell on. He's not gone very far, but he's going to make it. Yeah, we could have so much fun. Generally, so much fun with snail racing. I think the snail racing is going to win hands down on the comedy front. That's my Edinburgh. That's my Edinburgh fringe.
I think if you take that to Dragons, then they're not going to back you anyway. I don't think Paddy Power are going to be taking bets on it either.
Here we've got some people in here. Just want to say thanks because someone actually bought a bottle of whiskey from you. So they bought a bottle of 10-year-old during Christmas, which is really cool. So well done, Robert Campbell.
We had the opportunity there to open our gift shop there for 2 weeks in the lead up to Christmas, and the people that were through the doors just proved testament from the local community. You know, we had like Val that drove up from Waterford to buy 2 bottles of the 18-year-old. You know, that's commitment. A day trip, drove up from Waterford upon the release to buy. Sorry, bought 3 bottles. Bought 3 bottles and then drove back to Waterford. You know, that said everything for him. So fair play to him. At the same time, yeah, I can see some of the comments coming in here as well. Aaron could talk about
it's all about the antics. There'll be antics at Belfast Whiskey Week, without a shadow of a doubt.
Daniel comes back up to Belfast. It'll be a good night out. Do you remember Dragon Daniel? So Daniel is one of our friends now that drove up from Dublin for I can't remember what event he came up for, but he came up on his own from Dublin, not knowing anybody, came into the event, and I think me and yourself just dragged him around Belfast that night on a session till about 3 a.m. maybe.
It was a good session. And Daniel was an absolute gentleman all the way through.
But yeah, so
and here, listen, you've got a core range, Jamie. You've got a core range. Let's talk about Hinch for a second. We've got a core range. I've touched on the peated. There's a 10-year-old. What else is in that core range? Let's just get it out there because I think someone just mentioned the SPSS. So the SPSS, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, so we'll start off with, we've got our small batch bourbon cask, which is aged solely in oak. for 4 years. So small batch, 43%. It then progresses into our 5-year-old double wood. So what we do is we then put it into virgin American oak for a year. Hence the double wood factor, virgin American oak, 5 years of age. My personal preference, you know, go home to my house, that's all I drink. You look at my staff account, sales are through the roof on it. You touched on the 10-year-old sherry cask there. 10-year-old whiskey, aged in sherry casks for just over a year. Peated single malt, touched on it, 43% again. It packs a punch, and that's the one that I would see all over social media, people raving about for it, because again, peated whiskey is ever going in the Irish category at the minute. And then someone touched on the pot still there. Yes, we have a pot still on the market, all at 43%. And pot still being unique to Ireland, we thought, yep, let's go for it. Let's put it out there and show what all we can do.
Here, Mickey says, did you read that, Jamie?
What one is it we're looking for?
Mickey's talking about the peanut cups in the shop were to die for.
I didn't have the peanut butter cups. I had the fudge there at Christmas there. I didn't get out of the office to get down to the shop to try any of it, but we did hear some good stuff back from when it sold out. So listen, when we open the doors again, I'll expect Mickey to be back up to buy some more.
Pete, listen, we're excited for Belfast this week. And yes, listen, a tour of Hinch would be unreal. A tour of Hinch would be superb. Listen, you've got a wee announcement to make, haven't you? Because I have something here. Now, it doesn't say, quite specifically, it doesn't say anything on here apart from innovation number 1. So let's have a look at that. That's my third drink for the night, innovation number 1.
So we will touch on it. This was tried and tested at Belfast Whisky Week last year. I think I've used it maybe at 3 events now. Belfast Whisky Week, Whisky Live Dublin, and one other online maybe. And it was a project that was sat down, and me and Aaron have let other people try it, and we teased it out there to see what it would be like. And it's been going now for maybe a year. We've been speaking about it, and finally comes the time that we can announce that this is now going to be released to market. So there's 3 releases coming, but we're only going to talk about one at the minute because this one will be ROI, UK, Europe. The other 2 are going stateside. So we can announce the name that it has been put to it, and it's called Craft and Cask. So it takes the partnership between breweries in Ulster here. So we've teamed up with breweries in Ulster. And this one that you're trying is an Imperial Stout finish, and it was with Whitewater Brewery. So you have the pleasure of trying it there because I'm being good again. But what we could do if we want is I could share my screen and we can show people what it's going to look like and tell them about it. So just 2 seconds.
Shall we? You pop it in there, Jamie, and I'll flick up on the screen.
Yep. Just get 2 seconds and we'll get it. So if this goes full screen for me, we shall see what happens.
There we go.
There we go. So yeah, Craft and Casks. Combination between techniques and craftsmanship of Hinch Irish Whiskey. Basically, we've teamed up with them. So there we go. That is it, Craft and Cask. It will show you what it will look like. So this is the Imperial Stout finish for it. So for me, a really impressive bottle. We've taken that bespoke bottle that we have and we've put the Craft and Casks on it. So, you know, this is our Whitewater one focused on it, and we've spoke to Whitewater already. This is a limited release at the minute, but going forward, there will be more. 43%, and it retails at £35.
I love it. I love the look of it.
Yeah.
It's really, we keep on screen. Do you have an R image there? Do you? A wee bit closer. I think, to be honest, I get a little bit of fizziness on it. It's like a wee fizz across the tongue, which is really nice. Yeah. There's a toffee note, and then it kind of moves in from a toffee into a kind of coffee flavour, which is really nice. But
yeah, the stout brings through those fresh orchard fruits. And,
it's like a white grape.
As when we wrote it, we said like a buttered toffee. I get you were saying there toffee as well. There's coffee, the vanilla sweetness, bit of spice in there as well. It's been a couple of weeks since I've tried it, so we're just recalling what we had tried. But for me, the impressive 2 label factor is really going to stand out. It's got just a big shelf presence, and everybody that has tried this or heard about it has been pushing us, and it makes sense now to launch this. So we're about 2 or 3 weeks away from it going out to market.
I think what's interesting, right? If we look at the core range with the blue, and then we look at just to bring this one in here, then we've got this. We've got the, really kind of premium 18-year-old with the kind of pink. It's nearly a kind of pinky kind of purple, isn't it? It's lovely.
Yeah.
I think that white stands out.
Yeah, so it's not white. It's an off cream is the best way of putting it.
Off
so
cream, love it.
Like you said, part of what we're kind of doing is you've got your Hinch blue, solid, strong color. With the Shadow Delaline release, it's that Bordeaux red. This now, that cream is going to be designated with crafting cask, so people kind of understand it. On the Imperial Slight finish along the bottom, you would have seen the black label. That is for crafting cask, or sorry, for the Whitewater. With the other brewery that we have teamed up with, and it's going to be released soon for America, it's got its own color for that as well. So when you look at the bottle, you'll be able to go, that's teamed up with this, and the other color is teamed up with that.
So you're going to go out to the States with two of these releases. So all the people here in America watching this are like going to be impressed that they're going to get something that we're not. Yes.
Yeah. So Whitewater is for us, and I nearly said the other brewery there is going to America. So zip my lips on that and just be careful. There is another brewery that we've teamed up with from the province of Ulster, and we have two releases with them, which will be going stateside, and they will be announced fairly shortly.
Listen, I noticed Michael Morris was in the chat there. He's keeping a wee eye on you. You may want
I'm shocked that Michael's on this. He was working late tonight, so he was.
Well, he's only there to say hi to Mark Westmoreland from Wolfburn. Absolute legend.
The dedication. I asked Aaron to stay, but Aaron went home. I asked Michael to stay, but he went home.
You know your friends, Jamie. You know your friends. You know your friends.
I wouldn't get a word in edgeways if they were here.
But this is really. Do you know what, Jamie? This is really nice.
Yeah, it's a very, very strong for what it was. From what I'm trying to recall from it, it was French orchard fruits. The buttered toffee on the nose. If I recall rightly, there was a whiff of banana in there. Presence of dark cocoa.
There's like pecan nuts. Some lovely flavors in here.
That's the best thing about whiskey. Everybody's opinion is different. We're all going to have different view. When we do our tastings or you do your tastings, sometimes you don't like to make it clear exactly what you're tasting because then it forces those upon others. Yeah. So it's good to find common ground, but it's really nice when somebody finds something that you're not seeing or tasting that you then go and explore it and look for it. It might be straight away, or it might take a second go of it. But that's the best thing about it. We can all sit around the table and express what we think about it.
Andrew, you was saying there, can't wait to come back to Belfast and share some drams. Listen, Andrew, we genuinely hope that Belfast Whiskey Social, somehow happens. Listen, fair play to you. I know you've been waiting patiently. So fair play, and yes, 100%, get yourself over. We're not pretentious here. This is Belfast Whiskey Week, but we're happy to talk about Belfast, Whiskey Social. Nay bar. I'm happy for that, Andrew. You're a good lad. Definitely want that to be taking place because it just proves again, that Belfast is it has a draw. There's a whiskey draw there. You want people to come back into Belfast and think about whiskey. And that's why Belfast Whiskey Week came about. It's about that continuous reminder to people that Belfast is central to whiskey in Ireland. And you're not late, Kenny. You're never late. You've missed some peated whiskey, some 18-year-old, and now we're on a little bit of stout cask finishing, which is launching very soon. Very, very soon.
Just to answer Kenny's question there, it's our Whitewater Imperial Slight finish, which was the creme de la Kremlin. If any of you had the chance of trying it, that's what the combination was with the barrels. Slight cask will be released in the next couple of weeks, and tune into our Facebook, our socials, our website, and the food details will be there. But the Imperial Slight finish is for Ireland, UK, and some European markets, and the other two will go stateside. And £35 as well, which I think is a fantastic price. Fantastic price point.
How much?
35.
What?
So the Imperial Slight will retail at 35 quid.
So cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, your entire range so far has been, on point with price. I mean, people cannot fault you for it.
That's testament to Michael Morris and the rest of the team, Derek, Patrick, Aaron. they've set a very, very good price point that it goes on shelves. It has shelf presence with that bottle. And, you know, you look at some other whiskies, we'll not name any, but the price point that they put on it, it's just extortionate. But for us, I think we're very, very level playing field.
I mean, the 18-year-old, don't get me wrong, like it set me back a couple of quid. I mean, I'm not going to cry over that. And I'm still looking, Michael Morris. I know you're on here listening. I'm still looking. I need another one, maybe two. I probably need another two. You know.
Oh, you know what you need? You need the cask release. Thank you, doing. I thought you were going to buy into that.
I have.
I mean, I didn't. I haven't seen your name in paper yet. You hear, Michael? Ring him. Ring him. You were meant to come up to this today.
No, yeah. I get that deposit. No sweat. I'm on that list.
So you're banned for the casks then?
Ah, you're cute. Yeah, imagine buying 4 casks right now. Here.
That was a biggie for us. The NK doing cask release. You know, 161 casks, with no priority over them, no hierarchy. These are our first 161 casks put into ex-Maker's Mark barrels. Aaron done one hell of a job. From the 9th of November when we first started distilling right up until Christmas, that boy barely took a break with the rest of his team and got those 161 casks filled with 2020 spirit, all sitting out the back. And, you know, we had a bit of fun 2 days ago maybe where we took a sample from the cask for the first time to see what the influence are coming across on it. All the kids in a shop just going, right, let's get this cask open, let's draw a sample. And, you know, you can be professional, but when it comes to debunging a cask, going in and getting that sample, kiss and sweet chop. So
that must be. I mean, Jamie, that must be very exciting. And I'm talking about like pee your pants exciting. Like no, I mean, I can't imagine it. I just look at it and go, you know, I'm kind of like sad in a way because I want to be part of something like that. But you are really in the heart of it. You're getting that opportunity to see that every month. You can go in and go, here, I just wonder. And here, and listen, the guys who have the great opportunity of all the different, because remind us just now, how many different mash bills will you run through there in the course of a year? How many different types are you going to try?
At the minute, it's just the one for our single malt. That'll be a discussion. I'm not sure what Aaron's plans are at the minute, but at the minute, it's just pure single malt driving on. At the minute, the distillery's quiet. Lead up to Christmas, we had this place out max, and just for the past while, Aaron has toned it down, doing a bit of work and just tinkering with stuff. And I think it's probably in the next week or two, we'll fire the stills back up and start making spirit again. So, you know, Aaron and his team have all that laid down, and we'll have those conversations about what's next to come. You know, we are going to be bold in what we do, going to be pushing those flavors very far forward, and, you know, nothing is ruled off. You know, there could be double distilled, there could be whatever. You know, let's go for it. We want to be innovative, we want to be bold, we want to just make a statement. When you get that glass of Hinch, when you drink it, we want you to be able to go, that's a Hinch whiskey. We want you to know straight away that belongs to Hinch Distillery.
Well, there's Derek just saying something, and it was actually a point that someone else had made earlier on. They were looking about what type of casks, what kind of casks, because there's going to be some fun cask management programming coming through. Now, we've already seen, you know, we're talking about the stout casks here. We've already talked about the wine cask that we've got, the wine cask finish. But here, in terms of your stuff, Derek's pointing out, what has Aaron just brought in? Apparently, you're allowed to tell.
I'm not 100% certain. There was 12 casks he brought in there last week and the week before. You know, there's Salterns, there's Vermouth, there's PX, there's, you know, a lot of different ones in. There's a couple that I hadn't seen before. Had to go and Google a name, can't even remember the name. It's really obscure, but again, that's Aaron sitting back and going, let's just make this absolutely unreal. Don't rule it out. So we'll see when he starts filming that. Tune into our social media. I'm sure I'll have my camera in hand. Excuse to leave the office if Derek lets me leave the office to run down and get some photos and videos of those casks being filled at the same time.
So
it's going to be
very handy with the camera. I mentioned that in the kind of clip I put out there. You might be a very good and employable person at Hinch, 100%. But you're a great cameraman. Some of your photography work's great.
Let's be honest, was it not the photography that got me the job that night at Belfast Whiskey Club? Because as you all know, when I went to Belfast Whiskey Club and I didn't work here, or any event, I always would have had a camera in hand, be it a launch of this whiskey or another whiskey. It was, oh yeah, Jamie's got his camera with him. Let's get some photos. As before I started here, and you touched on it there a minute ago, this is a dream come true for me at the end of the day. I was that whiskey geek, that nerd, that influencer, whatever you want to call it. Went into Whiskey Club one night, got speaking to the right person, being at Michael Morris, had a very good chat with him, and then met up with Derek Hardy, and the two, don't know why they did it, but they gave me a job. Like, you know, madness on their part. But I'm now sitting here 2 years later, and I get to see whiskey being made. I get to fill casks. I get to work on new designs. You know, to be able to roll this right back when me and Derek first sat down. Like, Derek was the person that kind of led this craft and cask. It was his idea, but before the name and the concept of the labels, when we both sat down in that office and had that chat, and the rest of the team came in, our eyes just lit up, going, we have got something absolutely spectacular here. And there's other things that we're working on in the background that I can't touch on at the minute, but down the line, it's going to be, it's just statement pieces, really.
He just says he regrets it. Derek, don't be saying that, Derek. Listen,
I regret.
A lot of people have been asking me questions. A lot of people have asked me questions in the background about a certain whiskey. But actually, I just want to touch on David Patton. You're quite right. Belfast Whisky Week was indeed an excuse to make sure that you had, you know, plenty of time to have the wee drink on, and the kids were off to bed early, or you know what I mean, get them out, and then, you know, you had the time to enjoy it. And listen, Belfast Whisky Week will be the same again this year. All different time zones around the world are tuning in at different points, and yeah, there's going to be something for everyone, and hopefully, you know, it doesn't affect your work life very much. But one whiskey that people keep on asking me about, and it's because some people have tried it, Amarone finish.
I don't know if I should say or not. The management. No, I can't say. Amarone, 12-year-old that people have once again tried it as Innovation 2 at another whiskey festival, that sort of thing, is also on the cards, and it will be released this summer. Let's get Craft and Cask out there. Let's get talking about it and our next innovation. You know, that Amarone, when we first sat down and tried it, I had never tried a whiskey like it before, and the colour of it was just marvellous. It was absolutely unreal. And yes, that will be coming probably midsummer, if I'm honest.
Brilliant. Good.
So,
well, that's good. Midsummer sounds like Belfast Whisky Week.
That was the whole point when we sat down last year. Let's tease these. Let's get them out. Let's get a bit of feedback and see what people think. And go, like, guys, listen, yeah, we've got our core range here, but let's just tease people about what's coming down the tracks. And yes, we've had to wait a year, but we're here. Imperial Stout from Whitewater, going to be released in the next couple of weeks, and the two off to America. And then Amarone midsummer. So,
listen,
yeah.
Jamie, I don't keep these for long. Maximum 45 minutes. So if there's something you want to just blurt out just now, you've got a minute or two.
No, what I was going to do was, just because you had mentioned it last night and again tonight, I'll screen share just a couple of the photos off the front of the distillery, just to show people that how, you know, you've had the privilege of being out in the courtyard and seeing these stills in person and seeing the place at the front, but I've got a couple of pictures here we'll kind of show you and see what you think of it. So we will hit screen share again, bear with.
Go ahead. John, yes. I mean, John, that Chateau de la Lange casks, that 18-year-old is just superb. It's creamy. It's full of lots of big fruits. But just tasting this this new one.
What did you just
look at some pictures there? Go ahead. You've got a minute to tell me all about
listen, this is the front of our distillery. Visitor centre, reception, and gift shop straight in front. Distillery is just off to the right-hand side that is slightly cut out of shot, and over to the far left-hand side there is our main function space, the cleaning suite. 150 people maybe could fit in it, so we've got it. So that's just the front of it there. And let's see if we can actually go through this. Just another shot of it, you'll see just over in the far-hand side part of the distillery, and in the middle, that is our courtyard. I think that sums it up. That is our courtyard at 8 p.m. at night. So left-hand side is our bar restaurant called Hinch Brasserie. That will also open when Hinch opens its doors. You know, it'll be a focal part of the community. We want people to come from far and wide. Whether you're going on a tour or not, you can come in, you can sit down, you can try the whiskey, you can try the gin, you can try the wine, you can have a meal. You know, that courtyard, alfresco dining in the good months, if there is good months in County Down, for it, and I'll show you one more that's just it from the other side at the same time. So it shows you the size of the stills. You know, we've named their stills after the Mourne Mountains, Donard, Krug, and Wee Binion for them. So it just takes a bit of heritage and county down there, bit at the end of the still. So just thought we should do that.
It's definitely gig ready. It looks the part. It's gig ready, and no offense, and I've kept on saying it. It would definitely would not look out of place in Scotland in the Speyside region. It is a stunning facility. Yeah. And listen, a joy and no doubt to wake up to and go to work for. Listen, Jamie, it's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you for giving me your time anyway. And that's Craft and Cask out there. So tune in social media and our website in the next couple of days. We will give more details and we'll put the pictures out there. Tease it a wee bit more, probably.
Listen, Sláinte. And listen, we'll get speaking soon, Jamie. Thank you very much.
Cheers you with that.
Look as it.
Paul, listen, keep safe, sir, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you do have any questions, drop us a message.
Good man. Listen, cheers, Jamie. Thank you.
All the best. Cheers.